Had I followed my instinct and not taken the pill, everything would have been all right. But my friend Maya assured me everything would be okay, and I trusted her. Never in a million years would I have imagined my life would never be the same. And now, I'm sitting alone in the forest, banned from seeing my family ever again. It all started on the night of New Year's Eve 2020. After ingesting the pill, I felt a warm, tingly wave come over my body. My movements became slower and slower as I noticed a pressing sensation in my bladder. I quickly made my way upstairs. Standing at the toilet, waiting to pee, was somewhat disconcerting. It seemed the little muscles down there that would normally do the business were getting stage fright. I decided to just sit on the toilet and wait. After a few moments of clearing my mind, it all came together. I somehow just relaxed and it began to flow. Before returning downstairs, I decided to look at my face in the bathroom mirror and notice something strange. Why were there little tentacles near my armpits? Was there something Maya wasn't telling me about this drug? As I was leaving the bathroom, I noticed my friend Salah walking into the men's bathroom. Some strange fire within me wanted to free myself from so many years of sexual repression and just do whatever the hell I wanted. I ran up behind him and pressed my fingers into his back. Maybe I was making a huge mistake, but something in me was saying that this is what I needed in every way. I certainly didn't feel like myself. After tugging on his shirt, I pulled him closer to my lips. Salah reciprocated by pulling my hand and pushing me back into the stall I just came out of while locking the door behind us.
This is what you want, huh?
He said, tugging on my blouse and jeans. I was so lustily responsive that my lady parts immediately began pulsating. Tell me how badly you want me, I asked him. He pinned my entire body to the wall and put my hand on his crotch. The kissing became more and more intense as I unbuckled his belt. I emitted a gasp of surrender as he sat me on the toilet seat and then entered me. The pills intensified everything I was feeling as my pulse rate and breathing pattern became completely irregular. I felt as if my heart were going to jump out of my chest. After finishing, we couldn't stop laughing and giggling. Let's not say anything to Maya about this, I said, pulling down his shirt. Just then, I noticed a tentacle forming underneath his armpit.
I never knew you were so much fun.
Sure, I said, noticing the muscles in my tentacles getting bigger and stronger. Walking back downstairs to the dance area, the club started rolling kind of like a wave in the ocean. While the floor shifted beneath me, my heart started pounding really fast. My heart started pounding so fast that it hurt. I just sat down and watched the floor move. This lasted about 5 minutes and everything around me paused and I became completely paralyzed. I kept getting a little dizzier and my head was spinning badly. I felt like I had to throw up all of a sudden. I looked over and saw Maya staggering towards me. Guys, I don't think I feel so well, she said, cupping her hands over her mouth. I think I may need to throw up, she said. I grabbed her arm and finally managed to get her to the bathroom. I opened up the third stall, and there were feces all over the entire toilet. The second stall was jammed with tons of toilet paper and didn't look like it flushed. I grabbed Maya's hair as she knelt down in an attempt to puke her guts out. And that's when I saw it. She pulled up to the house with a clear plastic bag and then proceeded to pull out 3 pills with Optimus Prime on the front. What are these? I asked.
Girl, these are Transformer pills. They are very popular in Southern California now. One of my girls took one last year and says she hasn't been sick ever since.
How interesting. I said.
Supposedly they normalize your cells and regulate your pH balance, but with a few shots of vodka, they can lead to a really good time. So what do you say?
Maya, are you sure these are safe?
Yes, girl? You think I would ever let anything happen to you?
Later that night, I went home to research the pills, and surprisingly, it had lots of reviews of people experiencing the greatest time of their lives. But there was one article in particular that caught my attention. Girl, 17, who went missing from school 1 year ago, was discovered in a forest more than 100 miles from her home. Kathy Roberts was 17 years old when she went missing on June 22, 2019, never making it home from International High School. With her disappearance sparking an international person search, the young girl's body and other items were found by a member of the public who was walking through the forest looking for mushrooms. After notifying the police, an amazing discovery was made. Huge tentacles were growing from the young girl's body. Maya, I'm not sure what's in these pills, but it seems we are about to have a brush with death. Guys, we have to get out of here before the countdown begins. Leaving the club, it seemed that outside was coming even more to life. Smells of rich fried foods, car exhaust, and something else a bit fouler filled my nostrils, and it was making me very uncomfortable. I was starting to sweat a lot and had a strange feeling in the back of my throat and stomach. I couldn't stop my eyes from rolling in the back of my head, and it was becoming quite difficult to walk. We attempted to analyze our emotions and figure out what this pill was that we swallowed, and what kind of effects would it have on our body. This feeling was anything but smooth, and it was a little disappointing to see everyone surrender to whatever journey lied ahead. How could we have been so stupid? Guys, I can't keep going. It feels as if something is pressing me down and preventing me from sitting up. I can't move my arms or legs, said Maya. We couldn't even call for help because we were under the influence of an illegal drug. How could we have been so stupid? Sola and I placed Maya's arms around our necks. At this point, I felt this uncontrollable weight on my chest, but my only thought was to move us away from the crowd as quickly as possible. It seemed as though my brain was starting to play tricks on me, but little did I know the trip was just getting started. We continued walking for what seemed like hours. I'm not sure if I was hallucinating, but right before me, something immediately came from behind me and tied all three of our hands, using its slithering tongue to lick every inch of my face. I could feel its beastly hands scraping my sides. I was in so much pain, but as I screamed louder and louder, it continued to ignore us. I couldn't move any part of my body, but I could feel everything. After feeling like I couldn't take it anymore, the creature vanished off into the darkness with all three of us on its side. There was an overcoming sense of fear when I woke up seeing all three of us being tied to a tree. The fear had me trapped in a prison of circumstance. It was the most horrible thing in the world. I was so hungry, but the feeling was replaced by the anxiety of not knowing if it was going to reappear. All the while, I could see the muscles in Maya's tentacles getting bigger and bigger. When the creature arrived, we were all too frozen with fear to let out a scream. "What do you want from us?" I shouted.
Don't worry, my dear. I promise I won't hurt you. I'm only here to save you.
Save us from what? If you want to help us, get my friends and I to a hospital. Can't you see that we're sick?
You are not sick. You're transforming.
What?
Transforming into what?
asked Salah, coughing up blood. Just then I looked over and noticed Maya's throat beginning to expand and her mouth split open, revealing 3 rows of sharp teeth. Her entire body drenched in slime and By this time, her tentacles had grown so long they were wrapping around the trees.
Are we gonna stay like this forever?
Asked Salah.
Unfortunately, those pills are not what you think they are. Everyone who has taken them has metamorphosed into these things. Some have escaped into the darkness to live forever. For fear of anyone finding them, some have been captured by scientists and taken to the lab for experiments. I only tied you to the tree because I don't want you going back to town where everyone can see you. This is your new life now.
At this point, I looked over and saw that Salah had already undergone complete transformation, and I was well on my way. How long have you been living like this? I asked.
I transformed a year ago with my best friend. We wanted to celebrate our last year of high school together. We startled two guys one night, walking through the forest looking for mushrooms. I got away, but unfortunately my best friend did not. Her body is being kept somewhere upstate with these evil people to examine.
Kathy Roberts! I remembered seeing her in the article I read. Just then, I could feel the muscles in my jaw begin to tighten as my body prepared to descend to its final home. All I could think about was how scared I was. How were we going to eat? What would we do to pass the time? If only I could go back to that very moment in time and say no. I would never be able to see my family again. My advice to you, if you ever feel peer pressured into doing something you don't want to do, please take a step back and ask yourself, is it worth risking your entire life for?
Oh.